What's up, people? You have found the KO Report, and I'm Scott Killian. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into the ET8250 HD from Mac Tools, powered by Bosch software. And I'm going to let you know if it's a KO or just okay. Stick around. Welcome back to another installment of the KO Report. I'm glad you're here. As I mentioned in the opening, I'm going to talk about the ET8250 HD by Mac Tools, powered by Bosch software. I've done a video recently on this exact tool, from unboxing and what's in the box and how to set it up. And in this video, I'm wanting to go to a deeper dive of the operation and coverage that the scan tool has for the units and vehicles that are out there. It covers both on-highway and off-highway. They do offer a package that is for on-highway only, and the part number for that is an ET8150-HD. But today we're going to look at the 8250, which has both on-highway and off-highway coverage. Let's take a look. I have the unit powered up and ready to roll. It is a Windows-based unit. So once you have it started and you hit the double click the ECItronics, this is the software window that comes up. Then this is the main home screen. In the top, you can tell that I have it in demo mode and ready to show. I don't have any trucks of equipment that I personally own that we can hook up to. And what I would like to do is just show how to use the tool and what coverage is in it. And basically the way I learned. So we'll start at the top and work our way down. Here at the top, you have connect and scan, and that will be your 9-pin connectors. You have connect and scan with your 6-pin, or connect and scan with your Volvo Mac, which is also a standard OBD2 connection. Looking at heavy duty trucks and across the board, we have coverage for heavy duty, medium duty, trailers, power control, bus, agricultural equipment, off-highway equipment. If we click on trucks, if we look down, you'll see that there is a list of heavy-duty trucks. The ones that stand out: Caterpillar, Freightliner, International, Kenworth, Mack, Peterbilt, Sterling, Volvo, Western Star. Those are the main ones here in America. There is things I've never heard of, such as American LaFrance, Calar Ottawa. That sounds like it might be Canadian, I'm not sure. OBD2 or OBD standard, Oshkosh. I thought they sold baby clothes. But here's the heavy duty coverage. If we go back, medium duty. Now we have a larger list as we have a slide bar. And what's been added would be Dodge, Ford, GMC Chevrolet. Now we have Great Wall, Photon, never heard of that, Hino, Hyundai, International, Isuzu, Mitsubishi, Mercedes-Benz, Mitsubishi Fuso, Nissan, Sterling, UD Trucks, Volkswagen, and Workhorse. Coming across now to trailers. All U.S. trailers and manufacturers. With trailers, it covers brake systems and reefer units, whether it's a Wabash, Meritor, Carrier, Thermo King. There is coverage in this scan tool for that. Powertrain controllers, as we look here. Allison, Bendix, Caterpillar, Cummins, Daimler, Dana, Detroit, Eaton, Freightliner, GM, Halidex, Hino, International, Isuzu, Mack, Mercedes, Meritor, Navstar, PACCAR. PACCAR's a big one. PSI, Volvo, Wabash, Meritor, ZF Meritor. And that's just to name the ones that are common. There is others on here that I did bypass. Bus. Who knew there was this many type of buses? I've heard of a Thomas bus being in North Carolina. That's our school buses. I've heard of Prevost, but we have generic bus, Young, Volvo, Volkswagen, Van Hool, Thomas built, Scania, Prevost, Orion, Nova bus, Nissan, New Flyer, Mercedes. It's just crazy. Isuzu, Iveco, Ford custom chassis, Freightliner custom chassis, BYD, Bluebird. I have heard of Bluebird. So everything we've highlighted to this point, heavy duty trucks, medium duty, trailers, powertrain controller, and bus, is on the ET8150 HD. What separates this tool from the others are these two buttons, which is your agricultural and off-highway equipment. Agricultural equipment. AGCO, Bobcat, Cabela's, Case International, Caterpillar, Deutsch Fahr, Evergreen, Farmtrac, Ferrari, Goldini, Grimm, Jatco, JCB, John Deere. John Deere is a big one that we get requests for. Coyote, Kubota, Lamborghini, LS, Mahindra, Massey Ferguson, McCormick, Mercedes, New Holland, and this list keeps going. And it ends down with Zoomlion. I'm not sure if it shows that far down the screen or not. So there's a lot of agricultural equipment here. We'll go over to off-highway. Off-highway construction equipment, stationary engines, others. With others, if we look at this, everything listed here is a street sweeper. I've heard of Elgin street sweepers. That's it. But a street sweeper can be, for lack of better terms, a Frankenstein. It could have one engine and chassis transmission setup. It could have a different setup for the engines of the sweepers. Just various things. Lowest bidder wins, right? Off-highway equipment, stationary engine. These will be things you would see as far as like generators that could be powering hospitals, hotels, so anything that's stationary. But we have Caterpillar, Cummins, Detroit, Doosan, Hino, a lot of the same names that we've seen somewhere else, Scania. And then off-highway construction equipment. When we hit it, it says connect and scan to CAT. There's so much CAT coverage, it has its own button. Connect and scan to Volvo or select make and model. With select make and model, once again, a grocery list of coverage. Bobcat, Atlas, Case, Caterpillar, Daewoo, Ditch Witch, Doosan, Eurotrack, Guile, Genie, Hitachi, Holder, Hydrema, Heister, JCB, JLG, John Deere, Kobelco, Komatsu, Kubota, Lieboy, Liebhaber, Linkbelt, Lugong, keep going down, Sandvik, Skyjack, Skytrack, Tiger Cat, Toyota, Vermeer, Volvo, Yanmar, Zoomlion. So a lot of coverage in this. Go back. With this, you can see the last 30 vehicles that has been connected. Here's kind of an example: Volvo Mack, John Deere, Freightliner, Ford, Peterbilt, Packard, Caterpillar, Kenworth, Ford, John Deere, Western Star, Hino. So this is things this tool has been connected to. Favorites, which you would probably be better titled as headaches. I don't know that if anything that you're working on regularly should be considered a favorite. Maybe it would be setting up favorites for, I don't need to do a search for this. I only work on these type tractors. I've got a John Deere collection, but it's these, and you could list them there. And then you can also input the VIN. So we're in demo mode. We'll start here at the top and do connect and scan, and it goes through its connection process. All right, we're up and running. Again, going from left to right, top to bottom, we'll look over the items that is coverage. Here we have the Systems tab highlighted. Under Systems, we have Engine, Exhaust, Powertrain, Transmission, Brakes, Mainframe, Multiplex, Instrumentation, Steering, Safety, Registration data, Air conditioning, Heating, Electronic module, Auxiliary brakes, and Audio system. That is a lot of information for one scan tool. The engine for this that it has pulled up is a DD13, so it's a Detroit diesel. It is the DD16 powertrain and a Detroit diesel DT12 transmission. If you double click a unit, it'll open or close. Now keep in mind, unlike a Android-based tablet, you click and it opens. If I click here, it highlights blue, and I can either double click or hit continue here in the bottom. As we go across the top, common tests. An exchange of catalyst, a particular filter replacement, testing the DEF metering, change your speed limit value, a forced DPF regen, modify the power curve rating of the engine, check for leaks in the fuel system, it'll pressurize the fuel system, check for leaks, a cylinder compression test, a cylinder cut-off test or switch-off test, injector codes modification, transmission calibration. Operating data is the next tab over. This will give us information as to how the unit or the vehicle is being driven. Partial operating data, reset operating data. If we go into operating data and continue, total data. It lets us know how many miles has been driven, idle time or time driven, idle time, total consumption at idling speed, 26 gallons of fuel during idle, stationary regens, engine load, cruise control, maximum speed, maximum vehicle speed, date and time, maximum engine rev, how long, let's see, a particular filter regen, 81 times, 27 gallons of DEF has been used. So it's sort of a telltale of how the operator is taking care of the unit. Engine speed average, 64 RPMs. speed per mile 73, power takeoff 33 gallons. So it really gives a deep count of how the driver is operating the equipment, and you can export this to an Excel sheet so the people in the office can, or the service manager, fleet manager, can really keep an eye on his units. So we go back, common data. This is just sort of a cluster gauge for what's going on in the engine. Now, if we go back to systems, we will stay on engine. All right, let's go to the bottom. You got the back, it's going to take us back to the main home screen. Next button here is system information. If I hit system info, we have wiring diagrams, technical data, technical documents, troubleshooting by symptom, component replacement guidelines, and a DTC lookup, your trouble codes, diagnostic trouble codes. If you notice this little emblem here, it shows, kind of looks like a globe. For these items, you will need to be connected to the internet, and it will tell you here in the corner if you are connected to the internet or not. Currently, I am not. But looking at what we can here, wiring diagrams. If we click on these, what I love about these is they are very thorough, very accurate, and very interactive. So as they pull up, this shows the Detroit diesel, DDEC 16 on the DD13 engine, MCM 2.1 is the computer with the electronic diesel control common rail. So if we click on an item, it'll highlight. And if you notice, each one highlighted is all the same thing. So as I clicked on this first one, that tells me it is a needle valve here at the top. Go back up just a bit. Okay. If I click beside it, those are my pressure limiters. Obviously, you're going to have a pressure limiter for every needle valve. If we go to the right, that is my exhaust gas brake valve. So each of these I can click on and it will tell me what they are. So here, my exhaust gas recirculating valve, my EGR. So with it highlighted, if I hit continue, it shows me a picture of the EGR valve, the pinout numbers, if I need to check it, where the EGR is located on the engine. System components, the EGR valve. If I'm checking this, resistance value between pins 3 and 4 should be between 55 and 65 ohms. Tightening torques. So I have the actuator, the push rod, the cooling lines, and the bolts for fastening to the engine block. It gives me, excuse me, it gives me the tightening torques for those. And here, if you're connected to the internet, you have a blue link, and that will give you step-by-step instructions of how to replace the EGR valve. I want to take a moment and get connected to the internet here. Give me just a moment. Now we are connected to the internet. So if I want to do a component replacement guidelines, I can click on it. And it will give me step-by-step instructions of how to replace the EGR valve. Go back. We're back to our systems. System info, technical data. Regen, fuel filter. I can look at data here. Let's look at the exhaust manifold. Continue. It gives me each of the bolts and the tightening torque sequence for that on the exhaust manifold. Let's look at water pump. Continue. Torque's 22 foot-pounds, 30 Newton meters. And then here's the list if you need to look at anything on that, or you can do a search. So we're back to our main screen. Technical documents, troubleshooting by symptom, component replacement guidelines. If we look at technical documents, I want to check injectors. Check for possible mechanic faults and components. Check if the component is damaged or dirty. Check for existing damage, excess temperature, fastening ring, clean the fuel injectors. Troubleshooting by symptom. You may have a hard crank start conditioning. You could check that there. Component replacement guidelines. How do I change my charge air cooler? How do I change my VGT? That would be located there. And DTC lookup. I've got a code. What does that code mean? You can type in the code's information there and find it. Model info. Labor time guidelines. This is crucial for those who are charging for repairs. You have your labor time guidelines for all of these different makes and models here at your fingertips. Technical data and service procedures. How do I do this? Service data, fuse and relay diagram, technical documents, troubleshooting by symptoms still coming with us. VIN information. You can save what you're working on, or we'll hit continue. So now that we're on engine and hit continue, it takes a moment to load as it communicates with the truck. And as it populates, what I love about this particular scan tool versus other scan tools that are out there, this is what I call a screen of familiarity. Whether you're on a Cummins, a John Deere, a Komatsu, a road tractor, an F350, a Hino, regardless what you're connected to, once you have selected your vehicle and the component you want to look at, this screen is the same all throughout. From this screen, we can read our codes, clear our codes, get actual values, check actuators, special functions, adjustments and settings. Read codes, continue. It gives us our fault code, a fault description, status, whether it's active or inactive, and a trip count. How many times has this code went off? As I said, we are in demo mode. What I like is you can select each of these, and here at the bottom, we have troubleshooting. The double arrows always brings your wiring diagram and technical data with you. You don't have to back screen out to find them. But let's say on this coolant temperature sensor and plausible signal, let's hit continue, and it gives me the priority, the date of last occurrence, the time that it happened. It did turn on the warning lamp, and it is an active code. Back. With it selected, I can hit troubleshooting. You do have to be connected to the internet for troubleshooting. And as it loads this code with the coolant temperature sensor, it gives me a step-by-step instructions of what to check for. Engine coolant temperature sensor open circuit. How do I check for an open circuit? Click here. Engine coolant temperature sensor short to ground. Where do I go to check for short to ground? Click here. If both of those are good, proceed to step 2. It shows you a picture of the coolant temperature sensor. It shows you the location of where you can find this sensor. Check measures provided by the control unit with the diagnostic tool. If we hit here, it will display measures. It tells us what the actual value is, what the minimum value should be, and what the maximum value should be. So if we fall outside of this range, we know that the sensor is bad. You can also graph this out. Go back to expand all steps. Start the engine, carry out a road operation test. Do this for 30 minutes. Check the measures again with the diagnostic tool. We're going to go back and check what we just did. Check the results against the test data. It gives you information here. Check wiring and connections. Troubleshooting repair manual for electronic connections and wiring. You're connected to the internet, it will pull that up. Check the temperature sensor for coolant fluid. Clear errors and verify that the problem is resolved. What I love with this, you can hook up a printer to it because it's just like a laptop. You can print here and hand this off to someone and say, I need you to check this while I take the scan tool and check out another vehicle. Clear faults, self-explanatory. Actual values. I can select the values of what I want to read inside the system. It's going to load all the different components, and there's a list here that I can look through and select individually. If I go back, this is one of the coolest things about this tool. I can do system display and continue. This is going to give me really a 15,000 foot view of everything going on in the engine, and I didn't have to crack a nut or put a dial or meter or indicator on anything. I can check the engine speed, RPMs, and adjust that and see how live this data actually goes. Fuel injection volume, set rail pressure, the timing of the injection, the rail pressure control valve, injection timing, fuel pump, fuel delivery, all here at one shot. And what I like, there is a page 1 of 2 here in the corner. If I hit page 2, it brings up my SCR system. I can check the dosing valve, the oxidation, the catalyst, the input pressure, and the output pressure. Give me an indicator. Is my filter damaged, cracked, stuffed? Also the temperature of the dosing valve. All without having to take anything apart. Voltage signal sensors, continue. This gives me a list of different sensors and what their actual value, minimum value, and maximum value is. So if we fall in or outside of this 0 volts to 6 volts for this EGR pressure sensor, we know we got a problem there. Actual values, that will go to actuators. Now we have the DEF heater in the tank, the brake, compression clutch, fan controls, EOBD, indicator lamp, glow plugs, Jake brake, turbo compound valve, turbo charger control valve, water separator. So let's go with fan control. Continue. Output signal, function linked, signal pin. Once again, our actual values, minimum, maximum range. So you have this for all of these to look at. Special functions, think bidirectional controls here. I'm going to tell the vehicle to do something and it should work on command. So if I want to do a compression test, cylinder balance, cylinder deactivation, I can do a manual process cutting out one cylinder at a time or multiple. Exhaust back pressure, fuel leak, fuel system, fuel volume, injection rail. So if we do a compression test, continue. The next screen's going to load and it's going to give us information of what we're about to do. Interpreting a compression test. Here it is. This is what a compression test is, and it does have images. If we hit continue, at the top, it's going to give me information that has to be done in order to complete this test. The engine must be off, the parking brake must be activated, and then from here we can continue on with our test. The same with a regen. If you want to do a forced regen, it will give you the criteria there that has to be set in order to do a regen, which would be a certain temperature before it actually can start. As we go on across, fan type, you can change parameters, display parameters. Service, if you've changed your fuel filter, you can hit here and it will reset the fuel filter light. Particulate filter regen, this is what I was talking about. It tells you what this system is. We'll hit continue. Oops. Exhaust gas, injector coating. I can change or read injectors. Again, when these arrows come with you, it's your wiring diagrams and technical data here at the bottom. As we go back, we can select any of these systems. So another popular would be transmission. So if we select transmission, continue, we now have our screen of familiarity. So it's going to be the same setup here. If I want to read my codes on the transmission, clear them, check actual values of the clutch and pressure plates, of the TCU, the readouts on it, actual values, actuator, special functions, engaging and disengaging different gears, you can do that, and then adjustments and settings. So if I come back out, let's get out of this demo unit and pull up something in the agricultural field. We've seen heavy duty trucks, it connected to that. Medium duty, it's going to be literally the same setup. Trailers, you do need sometimes an adapter for the trailer if the trailer's not connected to a truck. Powertrain controller, I do want to show one thing here. PACCAR is a big concern with a lot of folks. And 80% of the questions come on the MX. If you have the PX, you do have the Cummins, but on the MX engine or system for PACCAR, if we hit continue here, there is engine and after treatment coverage. You just got to select which model you're working on and go from there. So agricultural equipment. Let's pull up everybody's favorite, John Deere. And if it's not your favorite, you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. It's just John Deere is very heavy here. So we have all of our different series. So we have articulated tractors, harvesters, cotton harvester, forage harvester, professional lawnmowers, self-propelled sprayers, sugarcane harvesters, swathers, telescoping handlers, and tractors. A lot of times, knowing the verbiage of this can get you a long way. I have a lot of people that will go into agricultural equipment and then maybe pull up a Kubota and be like, I need a skid steer. And they'll look here and skid steers not listed. They'll be called a compact loader. It's probably going to be on off-highway equipment. So with agricultural equipment, let's look at some of the Bobcat, handlers and tractors, Case International. Pretty much the same as John Deere. Let's see, what's another good one here? Massey. So a lot of coverage. Go back. Off-highway equipment. Off-highway and construction. Select make and model. Bobcat. All compact loader. That is a skid steer. Caterpillar. Wow, what a list. Articulated dumper. Let's see if I can make this bigger. No, won't go any bigger. Backhoe, paving, crawler, loader, wheel loader, diggers, electrical forklift, graders, material handlers, paving pipe layers, road finishers, transmission, utility tractors, wheel digger, wheel loader, wheel to bulldozer, ditch witch, John Deere, I think I hit earlier. Lugong, Tiger Cat, Yanmar. As you can see, there's a lot of coverage here. So we're going to cat. So here's a different step. It will tell you where which connector you need to use, and there's one of two pictures here. You could also take this connector. So once you determine which connector you're using, you'll hit continue. You're connected to the unit. And in this, instead of populating the list all at one time, it reads each individual module as it goes down and will load them. Engine, hydraulic, instrumentation, registration data, transmission. Engine, continue. You do have view faults here. I like to hit continue to get to that screen of familiarity. So I've got everything there at one shot. So if I read the faults on that last screen, I got to back out and then clear them. But from here, I can read faults, continue. PID 110, PID 1797, rail pressure and coolant temperature sensor. Rail pressure, troubleshooting. Fuel, problem is going to be the fuel pressure sensor in the rail. Pretty cut and dry. Adjustments and settings. Injectors, regen, recovery process of the after treatment system, recuperation, regen for ash cleaning. So there's a lot of information in this tool. I hope you can see the value of this tool. I know if you had to purchase all of this software for each individual make and model, all of that software for each make and model, your trailers, your power controls, your bus, your ag equipment, and your off-highway equipment. Could you imagine the cost of purchasing the software for each unit listed and then maintaining that software with their annual updates when you can have this tool, which has all of it in it, for one price? One price up front, one price annual update. Well, I say one price. There is an on-highway update and an off-highway update, and troubleshooter is an additional charge. So here is the tool a little more in depth. I hope this helped. If you have some questions, leave them below and I will be sure to try to comment to each and every one of them that come across to the best of my ability. And if I don't know the answer, I will find out from the professionals who do know the answer. Thank you for sitting through this. I know there was a little bit of time invested in this, but the tool has a lot of coverage and a lot to offer. If you was able to sit through it, kudos to you, man. I greatly appreciate it. It did take some time, but I wanted to be as thorough as possible without going into a 90-minute seminar. So I hope the overview here was good for you. If you've got questions, like I said, leave them below. I'll try to comment and reply to those, or find out from someone more knowledgeable than myself. I am by far not a master of this tool by any means. I just know enough about it to demonstrate it and really just get by. So I appreciate your help with that. If you've noticed that I did something wrong in the video, point it out to me. So it just helps me. Iron sharpens iron. So let's work together with that. If you have any questions, you'd like to purchase one of these, contact your local Mack dealer and let him know you're interested in the ET8150HD for highway use, or the ET8250 for on-highway and off-highway use. And they can get you in touch with the people that can get you together with this for a demo and solidify your purchase. Thank you so much for watching the KO Report. This tool for me is simply a knockout. For the coverage that it has, at the price point it is, it's a knockout. There's no questions about it. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for viewing. If you would, give the video a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the KO Report. I do videos and product reviews letting you have Killian's opinion on if a product is a KO or just okay. And vendors, if you're watching this video and you've got something you want reviewed, send it to me. I would love to share your product with my viewers. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, guys.